All right, we got John Cruz here, Marine. Always will be a Marine.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. Yeah, what does that mean, Semper Fi?
And Semper Fi is a Latin term derived from Semper Fidelis, which means always faithful. And it is the Marine Corps motto, always faithful.
So the motto in the Marine is always faithful.
Always
Basically loyal, right?
Always faithful. Yep, always there. Always there for the guy next to you, always there for the mission. I think one of the things that gets lost in rhetoric is that in the Marine Corps, first comes mission accomplishment, and then comes troop welfare.
What's that mean?
Well, I feel that in the Army, they take care of the people, and then if they can take care of the mission, that's good. But in the Marine Corps, regardless of troop welfare, you accomplished a mission. So if you and I and anybody else in the room have to die to accomplish a mission, that's first. First you accomplish a mission. If you have to take that hill, it doesn't matter how many guys it takes. I mean, a perfect example is Iwo Jima. The raising of the flag on Mount Suribachi in Iwo Jima. It took 250,000 dead Marines to raise that flag.
But the flag got raised.
In the end.
Yeah.
But that wasn't it. It was about accomplishing the mission.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, are the guys doing all right? Are the boots dry? Does everybody have rations? Everybody got enough water? No, that's not it. It's accomplishment of the mission.
So now, to start from the beginning, where did you grow up at?
Where did I grow up at?
Yeah, like where were you born? Where'd you grow up at? Just
that's
to lead
an
into
interesting story.
see.
That's an interesting story because my parents are missionaries. My father's a doctor in theology, Seventh-day Adventist. And a Seventh-day Adventist, the best way I could describe it would be a cross between Mormon and Jewish, which it has all the Jewish values. You worship the holy Sabbath day, and Mormon, you have all of the strict rules of no holding hands and no, it's a cross between Mormon and Jewish. And so with my father being a minister in charge of a university in that denomination, it was very challenging for me. I was forced to be the example. I always had to be the example. It's like, you have to do, it has to be you, your dad. You have to be the one. And there's a term loosely used called pastor's kids. And pastor's kids are always the worst. We rebel because we can take so much and then we can't take any more. And so I was a pastor's kid. And I remember sneaking girls out during church in our minivan, in our station wagon. Back then they were station wagons.
And was this in Florida or where was
station
this?
wagons? No. This is in the mission field. My parents were missionaries. I was in the mission field.
Where's that? I don't know what that is.
The mission field would be Central and South America.
Oh, shit.
A lot of Mexico, and
so you weren't in the United States?
No, I wasn't in the United States.
Oh, fuck.
No. Okay. We had several schools, and the funny thing about it is they were almost compounds, and they had barbed wire fences surrounding them that were not set up to keep the people out. They're set up to keep the people in. And one of the most beautiful things about the Seventh-day Adventist community is that they bring in people from all over the world. And so there were Ethiopians, there were Jamaicans, there were people from Argentina, Uruguay,
And you were growing up with all these different type of
and
people.
all types of different people. Just this beautiful cultural diversity, and and then there was me.
So then you get through that. So you have to deal with all that shit. Now, when do you come to the United States?
I couldn't take it anymore. I ran away from home.
Oh, you ran away from home.
I couldn't take the Christianism. I couldn't take I had had enough Christianism in my life. I ran away from home. I asked my uncle Aubrey, who I named my first son after, my uncle Aubrey, to help me sign up for the Marine Corps, and that's when I signed up for the Marines.
Now, you can't just get into the Marines, right? You have to go through stages. Like, did you have to go like National Guard, Army, then Marine, or you just
No,
go?
no. If
Yeah,
you,
tell me how
it
it
was
works.
very. I'll be honest with you. You want to hear a funny story? I went in. I wanted to be in the Air Force because I wanted to. They were smart, and I was going to use all of those technological skills that I learned to forward myself after I got done with my term.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, "I'm busy right now. I can't really see you." And I said, "Okay." And then I was sitting there waiting, and the Army guy came up, and he's like, "Hey," and I was like, "No, I don't want to talk to you." And the Marine staff sergeant came in and said, "Come here. I need to talk to you. You're for us."
Why'd he pick you? Do you think?
Because I had that killer instinct from the beginning.
Oh, he just saw it
me.
in
He
you.
saw it. He knew. He saw me. He knew me. And he picked me, and he got me the best of the best. And I went to boot camp. I excelled in boot camp.
Tell me about boot camp. What was boot camp like? Because I heard it's hell. Like, what was some of the things you had to go through? Me and Rob were talking. We were like, this guy must have went through fucking hell.
Boot camp is a joke.
What do you mean it's a joke?
It's a joke because once you go through special operations training,
Which is what, like, and what'd you have to do in special operations
we'll
training?
get there.
Okay.
Once you go through special operations training, what people go through boot camp is a joke. But to the large percentage of Americans, oh, you got to go to boot camp. You're going to be a Marine. Marines are badasses, and they're good. And it's hard. It was hard. It was hard. What boot camp consists of is breaking you down. No matter what you do isn't right. They deprive you of sleep, and they make you do things over and over and over. And no matter how well you do them, they're still not right. And the basic how should I say it? The basic structure, the basic principle of boot camp is to show you that nothing you can do is right. You cannot do anything right. And once they get you to admit that you can do nothing right, then they start to build you into a Marine. Then they teach you, well, actually, you can't do anything right, but you can do this. And then you can do this.
Yeah.
And then you can do this. And then you can do this. And then you're going to be part of that. And you go moving forward with the doctrination of the Marine Corps. And nothing's fast enough. Nothing's quick enough. Nothing's good enough. That's fine. But you start adapting to that. And in the end, those are the skills that save your life. When it comes down to combat, you have to boom, 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 everything. Once they take you out to the range, they start teaching you how to shoot.
Now, when you said they deprived you of sleep, how'd they do that? That had to be rough. Look at you. You remember that one, huh?
Absolutely.
What'd they do?
Well, you didn't get to sleep.
So what?
Period. You got in there. You got when you first. They're very good at this, and this is actually a very good technique that they use. It's something that we actually use later on in special operations to disorient somebody that we're going to interrogate, a foreign that we're going to interrogate. You don't know where you are. They keep you awake. They move you from place to place. You go from bus to bus.
All night long?
All night long. You're standing on this line. They stand you up over here. Then they move you over and they stand you up over there. And then you go into this line and you get this set of uniforms. And then you go, and they go moving you around until you've completely lost track. It's been 2 days. You haven't slept.
Are you
You've
starting
got
to
your
like see
uniforms.
shit?
And then they throw you into this barracks. And into those barracks, you are greeted by, I'm going to move this microphone.
No, talk right into it.
You piece of shit, maggot motherfucker. Who in the fuck told you could fucking be part of my goddamn Marine Corps? Get down, you piece of shit. Get the fuck off of my deck. Get down. Get down.
And that's after 2 days of no sleep.
That's after 2 days of no sleep. And they're like, you'll never be part of my Corps. You don't deserve to be part of my Corps. And then you start. They give you back your things. You said, but it never ends, and it's a constant. They'll come in the middle of the night and break up everything. You could have everything perfect. It's like, oh, get up, you fucking maggots! Get up, get down, get up, get down, get up and get down. And they'll tell you that, and you're not good enough to fucking stand on my goddamn Marine Corps deck. This is my Marine Corps deck. You don't deserve to stand on it.
And how long is this going on for?
3 months.
Oh my God.
And what you understand afterwards, what I understood afterwards, because in my afterlife in the Marine Corps, teaching people, it was my job. You break them down. You have to break them down to nothing so you can build them up to what you want.
Yeah.
And so they had to break them down. And they had people, oh my God, it was pathetic. They had people dragging behind. They had people they had what they call this, I can't even remember what it was called. But they had this unit that was part of the platoon that was supposed to be going through training, that was certainly going through training and cleaning their rifles and snapping and popping and marching and they would make this platoon of guys go behind them like dogs. CWT, Costco. Not Costco. Just people that didn't make it.
So now, if they didn't make it, would they throw them out? Would they?
No. God wish. They wish they could get thrown out. No. They went to the Costco unit. And they had to drag around behind with a broken leg or with a broken psyche or heart or whatever. And no, they had to stay against their will. And they weren't part of the winning team. Now they were just a bunch of losers getting dragged behind and being recirculated, and every once in a while one of them would get an opportunity to try again and get back in, but in the end, traditionally, they were dishonorably discharged or medically discharged, but they didn't get away. Oh, I remember. One of my funniest stories.
Talking to the mic, so it's good. You can turn on my You can
I beg your pardon.
No, you're good.
One of the funniest things I ever saw was we were getting fitted for uniforms, and there was this thin African American guy, and he said, "I've had it. I'm not doing this anymore. You guys can have your boots, you can have your uniforms, you can have whatever you want to have, but you're done. You gotten your last mile out of me. I'm done. See me? I'm done." Well, that's not how it worked out for him.
How'd it work out for him?
No, they took him out and they ragged him. They made him do, there's what's called bend and thrust, which is where you go from a standing position to your hands. You kick your feet back. You put your feet back up. You stand up again. You put your feet down. It's bends and thrusts. And you bend and you thrust. And you bend and you thrust. And they bent and they thrust him until he couldn't even move anymore. And he
came back.
No,
Oh.
he didn't. He didn't crack.
No, I mean he ended up coming back into the team.
Well, no. He ended up he wanted to die. He tried to die. No, there's people that try to die. Did I miss that part?
Yeah.
Other people that try to die.
Yeah.
Oh, there's people that try to die. They don't want any part of it. I mean, the Marine Corps is not for everybody. The Marine Corps is for a few select hardcore warriors that believe in themselves and that believe in each other and that are willing to give their lives for the guy next to them. That's the Marine Corps. I think that I've wasted a lot of time talking about the Scavinis, about the Scavini team, about the riffraff, about the people that don't really but to be a Marine is the greatest thing on earth. And to this day, at 52 years old, I look another Marine in the eye, and I say Semper Fi, and he says Semper Fi, and it's a brotherhood, and we made it, and we did it.
Yeah, you're all like a family.
We did it. It's a brotherhood, and there's nothing more. Now, right now, I'm currently working with veterans at the VA Medical Center, and there's nothing more rewarding. I find Marines coming to the VA, even though they don't have a medical ailment, to walk the halls and to feel that camaraderie again.
With another Marine.
With other Marines, yes.
So back to the boot camp. So once you get through boot camp, then what? Then what do you have to do after that? Now you go into the...
Okay, once you get through boot camp, okay.
So boot
wait.
camp's done.
First you get through boot camp. So
and you get your ass kicked and you
get your
die.
they break you. Okay, so quick synopsis of boot camp. They break you down completely. They rebuild you into what they want, which is a boot Marine. And then and what's funny is that you think that you're great. You get out of the Marine Corps. I made it. I made it through boot camp. Well, what you don't know is that you're nothing compared to the other Marines. And so then you go to your basic school.
Is it actual like school?
Yeah, there's different schools. Some go to school to be artillerymen.
Oh, okay.
Some go to school to be infantrymen. 0311 is the number one ground. We call them ground pounders, grunts. That's the backbone of the Marine Corps, is the grunt.
And what do they do?
They're the infantrymen. They're the ones that
are pulling the trigger.
I'll tell you how it goes. You can strafe a mountain. You can bomb the shit out of anywhere you want. And until you have a set of boots occupying that space, it's not yours.
Yeah.
You can clear from anybody else. But until you have that infantryman occupying that space, it doesn't belong to you. So the infantryman is the man that goes and takes up that space. He occupies the space. Now we own the space. As the United States Marine Corps, we own the space.
You bomb some shit, and then they go in and they put the beats there and boots there, and now it's your guys.
Or they don't bomb the shit. Or will you just go in there and fight it out inch by inch?
Yeah.
And more often than not, Marines fight it out inch by inch. They do get air support.
You want to talk into that mic, just so it's good.
You do get air support occasionally, but in the end, as a Marine, you fight out inch by inch, and you take a life, you give a life.
Yeah,
that's what it is, but the whole point is that you don't own the real estate until you have that grunt. That 0311, that ground pounder, taken up to space. That's when you know you own the space. Now you own that real estate. That's Hill 0311 now belongs to the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Because we've got boots on the ground. Now we want Hill 0415. Fuck. Now you got to go down the valley, go through all of the
Bullshit
again, climb up the other and take 0411, and that's just that's the life of a grunt.
So you guys go to school. Some guys go for that. They go for Air Force, right? They go for whatever. So you get through the school.
But then there's guys like me.
Okay. Now what did
Then
you
there's
do?
guys like me. I lost my guarantees. When I went into the Marine Corps, I wanted to have something that I could use after I got out of the Marine Corps. Some kind of mechanical, electrical, some kind of technical school, something like that. But I failed my piss test for having smoked marijuana before I went in. So I was limited. And
Did they punish the fuck out of you for that?
There was 23 of us that got busted. 22 of them got taken away.
But they kept you.
They kept me because I said the right thing.
What'd you say?
I said, I'm aware of it. I said they threw a big party for me the night that I was leaving. Before I went to boot camp, they threw a big party for me, and they were passing around cigarettes, and I had a pretty good idea that one or two of them wasn't legal, and I chose to do it anyway, and I own it. And I think that everybody else lied.
And because you were honest, they kept you.
I was honest.
Yeah.
I got kept, but I lost all my guarantees. I lost my guarantees I lost my guarantee MOS as a radar operator, as a radar guy, I lost everything. And they gave me a job with a life expectancy of 3.2 seconds in combat. They made me a scout observer.
And what exactly?
Scout observer goes out there and calls in airstrikes and calls in artillery and calls in naval gunfire, way out by himself, no support, nothing. And so I was like, all right. So I took that job, but it got better. When I was there with that school, with those derelicts, one day, I'll never forget this day. God, I'll never forget this day. There was this giant man, African-American man. He looked like James Earl Jones, and he spoke just like James Earl Jones. And he came up and he said...
Do you know who that is, Rob? Mm-hmm. Who is James Earl Jones?
He's from the Green Mile, right? No, he's the Bell Telephone guy. James Earl Jones, the Bell Telephone guy. Was he Bell Telephone?
Does nobody know who James Earl Jones is?
Yes.
No.
He's the voice of Darth Vader.
Oh, the voice of Darth Vader.
Is he really?
Yes.
Oh boy, I did not know that. Isn't he the telephone book guy? Bell Telephone?
I don't know.
I mean, he has a million roles, but
Yeah.
but he has that massive, omnipotent voice. And he said, how many of you want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Now, I'm sitting there in a room with 23 guys. 22 of them are African American. There's 2 white guys. One white guy's from Michigan. Never done anything in his life. And I lifted my hand.
To jump out of a plane?
I was the only one. I said I was the only one. And my life changed from there. That's when I got into special operations. I got taken out of the Marine Corps. I got taken into I went straight to jump school, Fort Benning, Georgia. Got to do all the PLFs, got to do all of the airborne training that everybody else did. Killed it. Did awesome in it. Then I went to amphibious reconnaissance school. Then I went to amphibious reconnaissance school in Norfolk, Virginia. Then I went to combat diver school in Panama City, Florida.
When you say diver school, like in water?
Combat diver, like...
What's that? Like, explain that to me. I don't know this shit. You're talking to a retard.
No.
So, like when you're talking about, like, when you got in trouble, what I think is they sent you as a dummy that runs up the hill to see if there's a bunch of machine guns up there.
No,
and then you report back and you say,
no.
hey, I'm the idiot that ran up here. There's a bunch of machine guns. Now the big guys come up.
No.
Like you were on like the dummy mission.
Once I volunteered to jump out of a perfectly good airplane, my life changed.
You got a parachute. Is that the parachute picture?
That's one of them, yeah.
Pull that one parachute picture up when you get a chance, Rob. And then he can explain it.
No. And then I became an invaluable asset. I started becoming, the more money the better you do, the more money you're worth, the more money they spend on you, and it's like those schools aren't available for everybody.
Now, John, is this you jumping out? I mean, it kind of
yeah,
it's
that's
tough
me.
to see.
That's a crappy picture, but yeah, that's me doing one of my first jumps. It's a T10 parachute. It wasn't one of the greatest parachute jumps I ever did. I think that when I landed, the wind kept on pulling my parachute and dragged me about 10 feet.
Now when you do that, how high are you up in the air?
Well, it varies. See, that's when you start getting into special operations. You start doing different heights.
You're not doing 30,000 feet in the air, are you?
Absolutely, high altitude, low opening. That's not it. That's what's called that is low opening. They drop you off at 800 feet, and they don't even give you a reserve. Because
so if that doesn't work, you're fucked.
If your main chute doesn't work, you're fucked. They just like don't even worry with the reserve. That was a low altitude jump, 800 feet, boom, chute canopy deployed. I hit the ground hard as a rock, and it dragged me for about 20 feet, and I was fine. No, but as far as our halo jumps are concerned, those were high altitude, low opening. You'd jump out, you'd fly throughout the air. You'd have to have oxygen. You would.
At least they gave you fucking oxygen.
You had to have oxygen.
Well, I'm surprised they even fucking gave that to you.
No. You need the equipment. They'll give you. In all fairness, you get every bit of equipment that you deserve.
Yeah.
And that they can hand to you. That's fair. And
so you
and
jump out of
they
the plane.
equip you to succeed. Yeah. And
I have to ask you this: what the fuck is he? Are you on a phone on a horse? I saw that. I almost fell the fuck over. What the fuck is this? What do you got a phone? What do you got a phone connected to the horse?
I was in Turkey. And we were fighting the Greeks, and I couldn't get any. I was trying to call in an airstrike, and I couldn't get any communications at the lower part. So I gave a kid at the bottom of the hill my rations. And he gave me his donkey, and I hauled ass up to the top of the hill with that donkey, and I called in an airstrike, and I blew the fuck out of 3 tanks.
Where's the phone connected to?
What do you mean? It's a PRC radio. Well, you can't see the radio because it's in
the back of the donkey?
It didn't make the picture.
Yeah.
It's a box. It's maybe 2 times as large as a cereal box.
Yeah.
In those days. Hell, now I'm so jealous now. The equipment they have now, God, no. But I mean, we're talking in 1986.
Is that when that was?
Yeah, that was 1986.
That's fun. That's a donkey.
That's a long time ago. And our radios we call them Prick 77s, and the radio was behind.
I saw that. I almost fucking died.
I hauled ass. I was hauling ass up the hill. I couldn't get up fast enough, and I was trying to get up there, and I could see them, and I was trying to call in, and I couldn't get communication. The hardest thing is to talk to an aircraft. Well, traditionally you don't use a PRC-77 to talk to an aircraft. When we got to the top of the when I got to the top of the hill, I finally was able to get communication with somebody, and I called in the fire mission. That was not an aircraft strike. That was not mortars. That was the regular howitzers. It was a regular howitzer.
And
it was a
what'd you
regular
blow up?
gun.
When you made that call, when you finally did get there, what the fuck did you blow up?
Oh, they blew up 3 tanks. They blew up 3 tanks. three Greek tanks. Because
you made a call on a donkey to blow up 3 tanks.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Was a donkey fast?
Yeah, but my favorite stories I would say would be calling in airstrikes. That was my pride and joy. Was calling in airstrikes with PRC-77s, and we would go up there, and the aircraft would be coming in. The aircraft would be coming in low, and the aircraft now it's just you're talking to the pilot, and that's just great. Once they hand it off, it's you and the pilot, and he's like, wings level, or you're like, all right, wings level, and he goes popping, and he pops, and he shoots straight up in the air like that, and now he can see from his cockpit, from the glass in his cockpit, now he can see down to where you're talking about, because when he's flying like this, he can't see shit.
Because you're on the ground, right?
You're on the ground.
Yeah.
And he can't see anything like that because his head's up here, so it's called popping. And so he pops. If you can get smoke on the target, you're golden. If you can't, you give him the best grid that you can. And then he sees the target and he goes, wings level, incoming, and then you have to tell him, because they fuck up all the time, and they can shoot. They'll blow up a friendly position. When you see them coming in nose deep, hard as they can go, you go clear and hot. And when they're clear and hot, they're gonna drop those bombs, and they're gonna clear some space. And
so
that's
clear and hot means
clear
fire?
and hot. Clear and hot means you're clear and hot, and drop the bombs, and they will level any kind of area, and so those are a lot more exciting. A piece of artillery is a piece of artillery.
Now, when they drop
Boom, boom.
when they drop one of those, how many feet would you say it fucking levels?
My greatest story of a round dispersion pattern, which is what you're asking me about. How far will shrapnel travel?
Yeah.
I was in Scotland, and we were calling in 16-inch guns, which are only present on a battleship. Like a battleship has 16-inch guns. And we were firing a battle. We'd gone up there. We were up the top of our little observation post. We were all happy up there. And they had all kinds of little targets set up down there. On the beach for these battleships to hit. And we're setting up our fire missions, and we're setting up the grids. And we're like, okay, this is that. And they have their fire control system over there on the ship that's inputting our data as fast as we're giving it to them. And it's a 2-man operation. And finally, it's like fire. And the first round that they fired, first of all, a 16-inch round from a battleship weighs as much as a Volkswagen. It's just a straight Volkswagen. That's how much round you have. And they missed the beach by 500 feet. But the shrapnel dispersion pattern was so huge that you could just see the whole decimation of plants and just everything on the beach just getting shattered. Everything. So then, boom, boom. So that's what you adjust for. So then add 500, draw, left 500, add 500, and you give it another shot. And I mean, you're looking at a battleship. It's like, boom. It moves.
What's add 500?
Add 500 feet in length.
Oh, okay.
Because they were short.
Oh,
so
okay,
I
I
had
see
to
what you're
say add
saying.
500 feet.
Yeah.
And then left 500 feet because I wanted them closer to where the targets had been set.
Yeah.
So realistically, you're kind of walking them into the target. You walk them into the target. I'll tell you something else really quick after this, but the second round just hit the beach, and a 16-inch round from a battleship leaves nothing to chance. There was nothing. There were no goats or herders or there was nothing. There was just nothing. It cleared out the whole beach. But what I was going to say before that was you do what you walk them in, and it's called bracketing. So you shoot around, it's short. You shoot around, it's long. You shoot around, it's shorter. You shoot around, and you bracket. It's called consecutive bracketing. And that's
You're
traditionally,
baiting them in. You're baiting,
right, that's
you're
how you
baiting
end
them
up hitting your targets, yes,
Yeah.
traditionally, is by bracketing.
in. Damn. Now, what's this shit here? Which one are you?
Oh, my God. This guy died.
Which one?
The guy on the far right died. Lance
Skin-
Corporal Chupa.
The skinny guy?
that was one of the...
Skinny guy?
The guy on the far right.
Yeah.
Yep, he died. His name was Lance Corporal Chupa. He was an idiot, but he could get communications anywhere in the world.
Why do you say he's an idiot?
And because he was just a dumbass.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your Marines, you're tight, you carry your shit, everybody's got their shit together. But this is a special opera. This is what you call that's a 5-man team. That's a 5-man kill team, and he, God bless him, and I love him, and I always will love him. He just wasn't the brightest Marine, but he had the innate ability of getting us communication. See, everybody underestimates the value of communication in combat or in any kind of conflict. If you can't talk to anybody, you're fucked. You're screwed.
Yeah.
You need communications. And he could lay out a wire, he could do anything, and he could get us communications. And he, unfortunately, in that particular picture,
Well, how'd he die?
well, if you notice, none of those weapons that we're holding are American weapons.
I don't notice that, but now I know now.
No, none of those weapons are American. Those are all Soviet weapons. And what happened was that the United States decided that Somalia was worthless, and Somalia decided... I'm sorry. The Soviet Union decided that Somalia was worthless, and the United States decided that Ethiopia was worthless. So we both pulled out. But being the Cold War, we both wanted to know exactly what did the other guy have going on in there.
Oh, so this was the Cold War?
This was Cold War. So we went straight into Somalia. We were the first pair of boots in Somalia. This was before Mogadishu, before Black Hawk Down. We were the first pair of boots down there. And we were in this little hospital called Alula, Ospedale di Alula. And... do you have the picture where all the guys are? Do you have the picture where all the troops are? No, that's in the jungle. That's okay. We don't have it. I'm sorry. We don't have it.
We might have it. We may have 7 of them. Keep going.
We're
gonna get to all these.
We were stuck. We were stuck with 35.
But you still didn't tell me how the guy died.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
We were stuck with 35 guys that had just been under Soviet oppression, and we're so glad to be rid of the Soviets, only to be replaced by the Americans. And we thought, we're like, oh yeah, hey, we're your buddies now. We're going to come. We're here to liberate you. We're going to teach you how to do things the American way. And we made friends with them, and we shot with them, and we traded weapons with them, and we would teach them on a daily basis how to do American tactics. And less they liked what we were doing. And more they turned on us. And we were out in fucking Alula, where the nearest base was 35 minutes by helicopter. And the situation continued to deteriorate. And it came down to the point where the village elders didn't want us in there anymore, and we said we would leave. We were calling for help. Nobody was coming to get us, and things got out of hand, and we started firing at each other, and we were stuck in the middle. We were stuck in the middle of Alula, and we were fighting our way out. And they were on the roof. They were in the windows. They were in the hallways. They were everywhere that we were trying. And I'm in charge, and I'm getting my team out, and I know where the helicopters are coming. So it's my job. These are my boys. I'm in charge of this fucking team, and I'm getting them out, and we're fighting our way out, and we're fighting our way out, and we're fighting our way out, and I was standing right next to Chupa. Chupa was standing right next to me. We were standing next to each other. And around hit him square in the chest.
And that was it.
And he dropped fucking dead. He was dead before he hit the ground.
Damn. Well, at least it was quick. You know,
there was nothing I could do about it. There was nothing could have been. Would it have been me?
Well,
and he just dropped dead.
At least it was quick, though. At least he didn't suffer.
Took his dog tags. I did what I could. There was nothing I could do because I still had the rest of the team to get out. We weren't done.
Still got 3 other
They're
people
still
to get
shooting
out.
at us from the ceilings and from the ceiling, and we're fighting, and we're shooting our way out, and we're shooting our way. The fucking helicopters aren't coming, and we're getting out, and we're getting out. We got to the edge of the village, and now we don't have any cover, and the helicopters are still not there. So we start moving further and further out.
Where the fuck are the helicopters?
35 minutes out.
Jeez,
Gunfights don't take that long.
Yeah.
Gunfights take minutes.
Yeah.
Gunfights take minutes.
How many bodies went down on that one?
I can confirm that we probably... No, I can confirm that we exactly killed. That we killed no less than 23, 24 of them.
You had to get out.
And fuck them, dumbasses. They were where they were, and they were on the rooftops, and they were rushing us from the front, and they were coming out of the doorways, and we had the skill set. And we were dropping everyone that we could drop on the way out, and we're just shooting them. I almost shot 5 myself.
But that's pretty amazing.
We just kept shooting them.
And how many guys do you think you were going against?
Just getting down.
I mean,
I know for a fact that there was 25 of them starting out, and that was my team. That was my team. Those 5 guys. Those are my brothers. Those are my boys. Those are my sons. Those are my fathers.
Which one are you? And I'm gonna say 1, 2. You're in the middle.
Nobody will ever know who the fuck I am.
You got a fucking mustache?
Yeah.
You got a big clip there, boy.
Yeah, that's the 100-round drum.
Yeah. You ever see something like that, Rob?
No, I'd run as fast as I could.
Tommy.
I wouldn't make it too far. Man, oh man.
It's like those old school Tommy guns.
So we're shooting upstairs, we're shooting downstairs, we're shooting anybody, and we get out, and the fucking problem is when we got out of the city, And then there's no, you know what I mean? Then we're out of the city and there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So anywhere we go out of the city, we're just sitting ducks.
I don't
We're
know- I don't
sticking
know how
to
you
the
made
edge
out
of the
that
city,
shit.
and we heard the helicopters, and we heard the Chinooks, and we heard them coming in, and I could not go back and get Chupa.
Hey, man.
I had to
Nothing you-
leave him behind. I
nothing you
left
can do.
him dead as a doornail, just as dead as God could make
Yeah, but you had to
him.
get the other guys out, though.
That was
You know,
yeah,
and
I
if
had
you
my
would've went back, you
responsibility
could've-
with my guys.
Right, you could have lost the other guys if you would have went back and got them.
They came in, the Rangers came in, and all hell broke loose after that. They got us out, and then like 2 platoons of Rangers came in and sprayed the fucking town and cleaned up house and all of that.
And what's
Nobody
the Rangers?
gave a fuck about us. Rangers are probably the only army element that I would ever go to battle with. Rangers lead the way. Rangers are Rangers. Rangers are great. Rangers are great warriors.
Not to be fucked with.
Oh my God. To get your Ranger tab, you have to go through things that very, very, very few people will go through. And I'm talking forced marches. I'm talking about cellulite on your knees. I'm talking about not sleeping for days. I'm talking about to be a Ranger. I have a large amount of respect for the Rangers, and I would work with the Rangers. I worked with the Rangers, and they were like us. They were hard enough to be like us.
Now, what's harder to be, a Ranger or a Navy SEAL?
Different missions.
Oh.
Different missions. Here's the thing with SEALs. The SEALs get all the money, get all the weapons, get all the training, get all the goodies, get all the tchotchkes and the highest tech equipment, and God bless them. And here's one thing that I really admire about the SEALs. They don't take young guys. They take guys in their 30s and in their 40s and that are have rank, and they don't take children. They don't take punk ass I'm gonna go make my mark guys. They take intelligent,
Mature men.
mature men.
Yeah.
And that's why the Navy SEALs are as successful as they are, because they take mature men with high levels of education. Most of them have college degrees, and they train them and they equip them, and they get. I was so jealous. We were working with the SEALs one time.
You can move that mic anytime you want. You're not going to break it.
Okay. We were working with the SEALs one time, and we were trying to figure out what they were doing. And they were mounting an 81 millimeter mortar on the front of their boat, so that when they came in, they could shoot mortar rounds onto the beach. They got to do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. And that's what I loved about the SEALs. They got to choose their weapons. They got to choose their armor. They got to choose whatever they wanted. It was a beautiful thing. And I admire them. I still, to this day, I admire them. I don't think that man for man, they're a better warrior than the special operations teams in the Marine Corps, but they have better tools.
Yeah, well, they can get anything they want, right?
They can get anything they want. We had the Marine Corps gets the leftovers of the Navy.
Oh, okay.
So, once the Navy's done with it, then the Marine Corps gets it.
Yeah.
And so, because we are part of the Department of the Navy, so we got leftovers, and they got the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
So
now, when you compare like the training to be, I know it's two separate things, but the training to be a Ranger and then the training to be a SEAL, is it the same or totally different? The training to be it.
It's totally different.
Is it? SEAL's way worse, right?
No.
Ranger's worse than a SEAL?
No.
They're just different.
They're just different. I mean, when you're a ranger, they have what's called a white tab ranger, which means that when you sew your ranger patch on, it means that you went through it during winter time. The shit that they put the rangers through is no different than what they put the SEALs through.
Oh, really?
Absolutely not. I don't think that the SEALs go through more rigorous training than I absolutely not do they go through more rigorous training than, and I'm not taking anything away from the SEALs, because the SEALs, they go through it. They go through it to a certain extent, and they go through their pain, and they go through their suffering. Here's the thing. The thing is, for any of these schools, their goal is to break it. When I went to combat diver school, we had to drown to pass.
Like you had to pass out in the
You
water?
have to drown to pass. So when you go to ranger school, you've got to break to pass. When you're in BUDS, which is basic indoctrination school for the SEALs, they have to break you. They have to break you. You have to be willing to die. You have to be willing to die rather than to give up. And that's the only guys they're going to take. They're only going to take the guys that are going to die.
Yeah.
That are willing to die.
Now, did they drown you?
I got fucking drowned, yeah. I'll check you. That's a funny story. It's a funny story. It's probably not my proudest moment. But, see, they did what was called problem solving. And when I was in combat diver school, and we would swim across, we each had a buddy, and we'd hold on to each other's tank, and we'd swim around the bottom of the pool. And then all these master divers, all these old school, all nasty divers that have been diving, for years and years and years, master chiefs, whatever, they had as long as they could hold their breath to go down and disrupt your equipment. So they'd go down immediately, they'd shut off your air tank. They'd flip your mask inside out. They'd rip the regulator out of your mouth. They'd pull your fins. They start taking all your shit, and they take everything away from you, and you're fighting in your space just to hold on to your shit, to your equipment.
You're not ready for this, right?
And no, you don't see them come in because you're swimming like this, and they come from on top. So what they teach you to do is to rotate into your partner, and I hold his tank straps, and he holds my tank straps. Now we've got our tank secured. Now, whatever they want however many knots they tie in our regulators, or however many feet they throw our fins away, or whatever, we have our tanks. And then we work together. But these guys are divers. They smoke cigarettes, but they dive for 3-4 minutes. And you're sitting down there with no air, and these old salty dogs are down there destroying you. And you're down there, and you're just holding on. And then they finally go away. And then you immediately start trying to untie a regulator, you give yourself some air, you give your buddy some air, or if your buddy gets the air first, and you give each other some air. You just get some air, and then you start looking, okay, we got to untie this, we got to unfuck that, we've got to fix that, we got to, oh shit, your regulators, and you just start problem solving, and that's why the course is called problem solving. And you solve your problems, and then by the time you get everything together, if you make it, then you make it. But after you're done with problem solving, that's just the beginning.
But you said so you didn't make it.
That's just the beginning.
But did you make it?
I made it.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah, I made it. I never failed a single military school. Never ever a single operation school.
Wow.
But I'm going to tell you my not glorious moment.
Yeah.
That's what's coming.
Okay, let's go.
So we're done with problem solving. We're fucking dying down at the bottom, and oh shit, and I get his bag, and he gets it. We get all our shit back together, and now we have to go up, and we'd have to swim on our backs around these giant pools that they had, the giant Navy pools. And we'd have to swim around on our back, and the tanks weighed tons. And you had to swim around
with the tank on you.
With the tank on your back, and they'd flip your mask inside out so you couldn't really breathe, and you'd swim around, and they'd pull your regulator out so you couldn't breathe, and so you're trying to breathe and you can't see, and the mask smashes into your nose, and you're holding on to your butt, and you're like, don't worry buddy, and you're like swimming on your back. You have to swim around and around and around until it's, and that's when you start cracking. That's when you run out of gas. You don't have any more energy. You can't float anymore. You can't swim anymore. The tank's dragging you down. That's when you break.
And you broke?
Hell no. My partner broke.
Yeah.
My partner broke. I was about to break, but my partner broke, and I'm like, no, man, don't go down. And the whole time I'm like pulling him down to hold my head up so I can get a little breath of air, and I'm like holding him down, breathing up here. And anyway, so we were going round and round and round, and he didn't make it because I pulled him down.
Fuck it.
It was one or the other. He was pulling me, I was pulling him. He was pulling me, I was pulling him. I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm breathing, and one of us was going down, and then he then he tried to start reaching for the side, and they had this rule: our ocean has no sides. So if you'd put your hand on the side, they'd jam on your hand, and you couldn't hold on. You weren't allowed to hold on. The ocean has no sides. Bang! They'd keep slam on your hand, and he finally was holding. I won.
Yeah.
We were playing tug of war, and I won. I drowned his fucking ass to save myself. Yeah. And fuck it. That's what it is.
And then what was the next thing you were going to tell me about? Because you were saying that's just the beginning.
No, the beginning and the end. I drowned his ass.
I know. I mean, but the next phase in the training.
The next phase in training was it's what's called oxygen toxicity.
The fuck is that?
After you reach a certain depth a certain depth.
The bends, right?
The what?
The bends, they call it the bends?
Well, the bends traditionally kick in when you're coming back up.
Oh, back up, that's right.
Back up. And if you come up too fast,
that's right.
The air embolizes faster than the air grows faster than you can assimilate it, and it starts popping. There's a whole section on that. If you're interested, I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah.
But when you go down, you can only go down so far before you get high, and I mean high. And I got to the bottom. We were at 100 feet, 100 feet. Let's call it 100 feet. And we had to do this flange project, and they make you do these projects once you're at 100 feet. And I was picking up mud and pouring it on top of my buddy's head. That's how good I was doing. And he was trying to put the flange together, and I'm like, mud on your head, mud on your head. You look good. I'll clear out your eyes. Can you see? And
Let me just fix this for you. Sorry, it's not your fault.
Oh, no, I apologize.
No, it's all right.
And
It's just a good story. I want to make sure it sounds good.
yeah, and so he got us through that project. I owe him that project. I owe him the oxygen toxicity project. He did the flange. I put the mud on his head, and we got the flange, and we got the thumbs up. We came up. But that reminds me of, speaking of oxygen toxicity, before they ever let you go underwater, before they ever let you actually dive, you go into a compression chamber.
Yeah, I've heard.
You've heard of the compression?
I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
The compression chamber, you all sit in.
It doesn't sound good. I know.
It doesn't sound like any fun, and it's like we're all sitting here in our compression chamber, and they start raising the pressure and raising the pressure and raising the pressure and raising the pressure, and it's designed to see who can handle what depth. Because if you can't handle after a certain depth, then you have no business diving, because why are they going to risk you in a water environment when they can have you in a controlled environment so that you don't function? So guys started falling out, and boom, boom, they were out. They
pass out? So what happens? You pass out?
You flop. You flop.
Like you lose consciousness.
The first guy and the only guy that I saw go down was a reserve lieutenant for the Army, which had no business being in our combat diver class anyway.
Yeah.
He was first of all, he was a reserve. We make fun of reserves just because they're reserves. Second, he was Army. Nobody gives a fuck about the Army. So then there's the Navy and the Marines that are left in there. And he starts reacting to the pressure, and he's starting to flop around, and he's doing now that's not the story. The story is that I'm losing it, and I'm looking at the guy across from me, and he's losing it, and we're all losing it, and and I don't know how much longer I'm going to last. And I'm starting to crack up, and that's the thing, is that you can start cracking up.
What, do you get cuckoo?
You get cuckoo, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to crack up.
Like you start seeing shit, or just thinking fucked up?
You just can't help yourself from giggling.
Oh,
it's like
right.
a little giggle fit.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to giggle, and I'm looking at the guy across from me, and I can see he's giggling. We're trying to not giggle. I'm trying so hard, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to fail this test. I'm never going to be a combat diver, and I'm freaking out, and all of a sudden this big spastic lieutenant from Montana just starts flopping around the goddamn compression chamber, and and all bets were off from the rest of it. We were all good, because they had to flop. They had to hold the floundering a Montana lieutenant down, reserve, who never deserved to be anywhere near real Marines, sailors. Anyway, but I thought I was for sure, like, I should have failed that test. That I had no control. I was giggling. I was laughing.
That saved you.
The flopping lieutenant saved me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flopping lieutenant saved my ass.
Wow.
And there's just so many stories in dive school. Dive school.
Is that the hardest of them all?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. Combat diver school is the hardest school of them all. They do, we've all been in swimming pools. We've all been to a swimming pool, and you know how you can. The edge of the swimming pool, you can sit down. You sit down at the edge of the swimming pool, nice and comfortable, sitting at the edge of the swimming pool. You can lay back, and you can kick your feet, and splitter splatter in the water. Now put your fins on, and splitter splatter. Now that gets a lot harder. Then you got to lean back, and you've got to splish splash with your fins in and out of the water on the edge of the pool, and it's just burning your abs, it's burning your thighs, it's burning every freaking muscle that you have on the frontal part of your body, and you've got to, and they're like, make it splash, and it's not good enough to just jiggle in there. You got to make it splash, and oh God, and we'd sit there. It had felt like for hours. I don't know how long we were there for. But it was forever, and we'd just be like, just splashing with the fins and splashing with the fins.
And if you don't do it, you fail?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely, yes. Any sign of I won't do it, you're out.
Any fuck
Combat
up,
diver
any fuck
school,
up, you're done.
There's a 20% graduation ratio in combat diver school. 20%. So out of
I'm
100,
surprised it's even 20%.
out of 100 guys, 20 graduate. All the SEALs were in there. All the underwater demolition team guys were in there. Force recon guys were in there. I mean, all of us were in there, and it was designed to teach you
hell,
combat diving.
Yeah,
combat diving, and in all fairness to the schools and to the doctrine, the philosophy is correct because there are no sides on the ocean, and there is nobody else but your buddy. And if you fail and if you make any kind of stupid mistake, you're going to die. And if you can't do that, if you can't pass all of that, then fuck you. It's not about you anyway. Who cares if you die? But you won't accomplish the mission. And like I told you from the very beginning, what's number one?
Accomplish the mission.
Accomplish the mission. Number two, troop welfare. So your troop welfare comes in second.
Number one is finish the mission.
Is complete the mission. Is accomplish the mission. Mission accomplishment. So if you can't even get your feeble little fucking body to goddamn survive those conditions, then how in the fuck are you going to accomplish the mission?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
You have to accomplish the mission. And there's only like 1 in a million fucking people that can do it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're looking for.
See, I can relate to it because when I was younger,
yeah,
my grandfather would come. I was a really good running back, really, really good. But the reason why I was so good, I mean, I was fast, but I was good. And my mom would scream and yell. It would be 2 degrees out, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
He'd
God.
say, come on, we're going out back in a T-shirt, and you're going to catch 50 passes. We're not going in until you catch 50 passes. Now, I finally catch 50 passes, no gloves, no T-shirt. My mom's fucking screaming. He said, get the fuck out of here. Let me handle this. Now, when I was done catching the 50 passes, then I had to go with numb hands in a T-shirt and 2 degrees and hit 50 foul shots on the basketball court, right? Now, when it was 110 degrees out, like when it was real hot up north, 3 sweatshirts, 3 pairs of sweatpants, winter jacket, like those big, I forget what they're called, like those big
parkas.
Yeah, well, like I mean, hot as fuck. 50 passes, 105 degrees out, no water. You catch 50, you get some water. Then when we're done with that, with all of the clothing on, go make 50 foul shots. But now when I went to play football and it was cold, hot, I just got done. For the last month, I just been outside in fucking 2-degree weather catching balls in a fucking T-shirt.
That's
You think I give a fuck? So when everybody else had those little heat warmers in their hand, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I just got that don't, and I could, and you know those big linebackers,
heat warmers.
they would be cold and shit and slow, and I was fast as fuck because it didn't bother me. For the last 2 years, 3 months out of the year, I'm freezing to death, and the other 3 months I'm fucking dying of heat exhaustion. So when the defensive line, when they were cold or hot, I was like, this is a joke. You know what I mean? And that's how I can kind of relate to it. I mean, it's completely different.
I completely understand.
And that's why I was so good at sports because...
The way I can relate to heat warmers
And I got my ass kicked. If we were out there for an hour and I didn't catch 50, Oh boy, did I get a slap! You can't do that
Yeah.
nowadays, but I got a fucking slap, and he was 6
Back
foot
in
six,
the day.
6'6" and a fucking monster, and he slapped me right in the back, catch the fucking ball, and I ended up catching it after the second slap. 'Cause the second one was hard, and I mean he'd pound me, but you know, but it made me. I mean, I beat records. I broke every running back record in fucking Pennsylvania, every one.
Wow.
But that's why I did it. You know, at my height, I wasn't that. I mean, I was bigger, but
But then let me put that into perspective. It's a level of commitment in your training that enables you to accomplish the mission on the field.
right.
And if you don't have that level of commitment and training, you will never exceed on the field.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but that's how. I mean, I know.
Not
I mean,
gonna
I wasn't
happen.
getting drowned in shit, but
Take
I
it
mean,
granted.
I understand what you're saying.
But
But
the
the principle's the
within
same.
your parameters,
The-
you were getting put through all the things
yeah, the
that
principle's the same.
that everybody else wasn't.
John, it was 105 degrees, and there was a bottle of water, and he'd sit it right there, and I couldn't have a fucking drink of. I mean, you know, at the time, my grandmother she's out screaming. He ain't getting that bottle of water. I mean, I'm fucking dying. They're worried about me dehydrating. He ain't worried about that. Dehydrate. You'll be all right. You ain't gonna die. That's what he would say. You ain't gonna die. And then I catch it.
And you're not.
Yeah, I catch it.
And that's the whole thing.
and
That's why they'd let us drown. You can drown. It's okay. He can fucking drown.
Yeah.
He's not gonna die. He's just gonna drown.
yeah, that's exactly what.
Just
he
gonna
was saying.
drown. All right, let him drown. So fucking what? Let him drown.
So now listen. So now I would go back to get a bottle of water. You know, I had like a big one. He'd be like, no, you only get half. We're going to shooting foul shots now. Now, once you hit 50 foul shots after dying with all of the clothes on, then you can have the rest of the water.
Oh.
That was a bitch.
Yeah.
And he put it right there where I could fucking see it, you know, to torture me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my God.
Psyops.
Fuck,
Psyops.
dude. This went on for fucking years, man. Fucking 8th grade to fucking... No, 7th grade this shit started. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. And then he passed away in 11th. But all the way till he passed away, the guy was falling the fuck over and still was doing it. He didn't tell anybody he had a problem. You know, he was old school. You know, where if he's sick, he don't tell nobody. And he would be at my football games and he would just fall over. He had a blood issue. He was on blood thinner. Nobody knew. And he'd fall over. He'd be like, no, I just tripped. But I mean, the guy fucking went over like a ton of bricks. But even going over on a ton of bricks, I was outside there freezing my ass off, sweating to death. You know, he'd be wobbly. Still threw a good pass, though. He even all fucked up, he threw a good pass.
Tight spiral.
Tight spot. Fast one. Fast. And my fucking
Still
hands
knock
are...
the wind out of you.
Man. And like, and no helmet, no nothing. And I swear to God, he would throw one so fast to hit me in the head if I was missing him.
Yeah.
And I mean a bullet. And it hit me right in the fucking head. And then I'd have to go to school with a fucking lump on my head because I just got cracked and he pumped the ball up. You know, like a football? He pumped it up hard as fuck.
Oh.
So when that hit,
Especially it's cold.
I had no pads on. So, I mean, if I miss that hits you here, it's like you just got punched.
Especially when it's cold.
Oh, my God. Well, the cold, you go numb.
Yeah. Well, true.
Man, could he throw a bullet. Holy fuck. 70 years old, that man could throw a ball. Like a Tom Brady ball.
You're fortunate. You're very fortunate to have had him.
Yeah. No, he made me strong.
And I consider myself to be very fortunate to have had the people that trained me. And I especially feel fortunate for the people that I trained.
Yeah.
Because I was a fucking terror. I was Sergeant Cruz.
Yeah.
And I had I got a split here to prove it. I would make them duck walk. I'd make them crawl through water, hoses. I would torture them to no fucking end. Like duck walking is when you hold your ankles and you walk, and you can only do it for so long. And then it's back to push-ups and jumps and bends and thrusts and these guys were just, I mean, it was a terror. And then I would I would psyops them. I'd get up in their rooms in the middle of the night, and I'd be like, and they'd be like, oh, they'd be freaking out, and that's how I got my chin split. A little giant black man that I loved. He turned out to be one of my best guys, but every time he saw me after that, he had to do 50 push-ups. But he slammed my chin open, and just in a blind panic, and you know, and I went back with my ex-wife years later, and they still had a plaque for me because I was Sergeant fucking Cruz, and I tortured and I fucking banged them all.
Yeah.
So. I need to borrow you for football season. I have kids that we play football. I coach them, and man, they'll be complaining after 2 sprints. Oh, I'm tired, and the parents. That's the problem nowadays. The parents just. He's tired, give him a rest. They make them weaker than they could be. If they just leave them alone and let them do it, they can get through the trainings. Man,
it's up to you.
People
it's
will
up
not,
to you.
Can you imagine?
I know how it is.
These kids can't make it nowadays. They would never be able to do the stuff you did. Ever.
No way.
Not the kids now.
No fucking
way.
No, they'll just go on the fucking iPad.
Maybe some.
social
Maybe
media.
one or two. There's probably a few handful out there.
Like you said, probably
Well,
one out of 100,000.
Because kids now, it's like you do one thing and it's bad. It's just wow.
Well, I just think that I would do poorly in the private sector.
But I just...
Because I would insist on, and I would make an effort to find small groups that would be willing to put forth the effort. But you can't, you're a coach.
Yeah.
You know, you got
Yeah,
all the
yell at
parents.
the kid the wrong way and
You can't.
It's sad.
You can't. But you're not training killers either.
True. Yeah, true.
You know, I was training people to go kill and die. And kill and die was the word. And it was killing and it was dying. It was kill or die.
Yeah, but now you'd say something to anybody and you hurt their feelings. Their feelings get hurt. So
I'm going to close this one with one last thing. And that was when I had my team, when I was in charge of my first special operations team, when we were out in the Persian Gulf, and some things were coming up. We would kneel down in a circle every day and hold hands, and we would pray for war. That's how hard we'd trained. That's how hard we'd tried.
Because
That's how bad.
You wanted to put what you learned to use, right?
We wanted it so fucking bad. We would pray, God, Lord, please grant us a mission. Please give us war. Please, God, please let us go. Please put us in harm's way. Please let us use everything that we've done.
So now you get through the training, the drowning and everything else. Now you get through that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You graduate.
Oh, yeah.
Now what happens after that?
What do you mean?
Well, you graduated, so now you're done with all that, right?
With training.
Yeah.
So you're assigned to a team and you go out.
Okay, what were you assigned to?
Me as an individual or
Yeah.
people in general?
You.
Well, when I graduated from my team, the thing is I was good at it, so they kept sending me to more schools.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a pride thing. It's like my unit, 2nd Anglico, they get certain amount of quotas for a certain amount of schools, but they only get, the quotas they get are based on amount of successes that they have. So they kept sending me to more and more schools, and so I was in NCO school, then I was in in Master Recon school, and then I was in sniper school, and then I was because they.
How was sniper school?
I was good.
That had to be fun.
It was the least fun of them all.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm a go-get-'em body guy.
Yeah.
And sniper school is
I know
mental.
I know how you are, and I thought for sure that would have been your favorite.
100% mental.
What do you mean mental?
Just breathe. breathe.
What's so bad about it? I don't know.
Don't move for days. Don't fart. Don't take a piss. Well, but piss on yourself. Who gives a shit? You know, if you got to take a shit, it's going in your pants. It doesn't
serious?
matter. I'm serious as a heart attack. And you can't move, and you move 6 inches a day, and then you go through all of that, and they send the dogs on you.
What do you mean? What's that mean? The dogs?
Canines.
Like actual dogs?
Yeah.
Why the fuck would they send dogs on you?
Because dogs can find you and nobody else can. Because dogs can find snipers like there's no tomorrow. So that's where the sniper went by the wayside. I mean,
is that you here? What the fuck is this here?
That's
a badass picture, by the way. That's badass.
That was in the jungle, and I actually have an ass rash from that.
Why
I really do to this day.
Why do you have an ass rash?
I was soaking wet for 3 months. I think I was. I was in Vieques, and we were calling in airstrikes, and we were so wet. I slept on a hill where it was raining so much that I was like sliding down the hill while I was sleeping, and it was fucking horrible. And we'd make our little bivouacs wherever we could. Never any hot food, and I developed this rash, and I was 20, let's say 20.
20 years older?
And I'm 52, 32 years later, I have a rash that I developed in that fucking jungle.
I can attest to that.
So now do you have food?
Oh yeah. No, I had food, and we got resupplied, and that was actually a really good mission. That mission there was a good mission. We kicked ass.
What happened?
Actually, I'll tell you something funny. I'll tell you a fucked up thing that happened to me there. We were shooting. We were calling in airstrikes from the top of a hill, and we were hungry as shit, and so we noticed that there was all these coconut trees down at the bottom of the hill. So I grabbed a buddy of mine, and I'm like, hey, we're going down, we're getting some fucking coconuts. And just then the Army TOW, that was when the TOW missiles came out. They were wire-guided missiles came out. And so all these Army helicopters line up and start shooting these wire-guided missiles, and we're like running down there trying to grab coconuts, and there's fucking hot fucking copper wire falling on us, and we're like, trying to grab coconuts and get out of the hot copper wire. That wasn't fun.
Did you get any coconuts?
Fuck yeah. I wasn't coming home without one. Goddamn right we did.
And what kind of gun is that there?
That is the old school M16A1.
Ooh.
It was before they had the circular grips. They had the round grips. And I don't know if that is one of the ones that has a shorter stock. Because for parachute operations, we use the shorter stocks. But time out. Take a look at the size of that fucking pack.
Yeah.
That pack weighed over 80 pounds, and that's what you fucking walk with. That's what you rock with.
And you did this for 2 days?
80 pounds. No.
How long?
Shit, that was like a month and a half.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, with that on my back, hiding in that island, shooting, moving, communicating, calling in airstrikes, and fucking humping 80 packs. And at night when you try to sleep, it would rain so hard that you would slide down the hill with your shit and your pack, and you'd be sliding down the hill. You'd be going down the hill pretty fast like a toboggan. I'm not kidding you. That's the island of Vieques. I shit you not.
And where's Vieques at?
Vieques?
Yeah.
It's close to Puerto Rico.
Oh. A month and a half you were in that fucking same uniform?
Oh, yeah. Oh, You always joke at me about changing my clothes and shit. When I worked for you, you know that I didn't fucking ever change.
So wait, so for a month and a half, you're carrying an 80-pound bag, getting rained on, sliding down the slope, carrying that big-ass heavy gun, that big-ass heavy bag, shitting yourself, pissing yourself for fucking 90 days?
Yeah.
Christ,
No problem.
No wonder you're fucking nuts.
No problem.
You should take that as a compliment. I mean, I'm nuts too.
No, I take it as a compliment.
You know,
Thank you.
I want to be nuts.
I appreciate it.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be
nuts. I appreciated that you would say that.
Well, you know, we used to always say that when somebody would say we're nuts. Remember that?
Yeah.
We'd like people thought that they would offend us. We'd be like,
yeah, we were nuts in business.
We were like, thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's some shit there, boy.
No, God, I had one other really good story that I want to tell you.
When you were in here?
This one. Yeah, it had to do with Vegas. Oh, I know what it was. Oh, we were in Spain. I was in Spain. And so, like I said, I was good at things, so they kept sending me to more and more schools. So then I became a jump master, and then I became a rappel master, and then I became a this and that. And so I was in Spain teaching Spaniards how to rappel out of a helicopter. And so there'd be like 4 guys on the ground, and they would be on, there's always a guy at the bottom of the rope that's on ballet that holds the guy that's rappelling, just to keep him, if he's an idiot, from dying. And so the ballet man, let's say that you lose control while you're coming down, while you're rappelling down, he can pull your rope and he'll stop you. So I was doing groups of 4 Spaniards at a time, Spanish Marines, and we were in a Huey, so they were going out 2 doors, two guys and 2 doors. And all of a sudden the Huey just stopped.
What's a Huey?
It's a UH-1 helicopter. Yeah, okay. Yeah. They were. I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
No, it's okay. You were just talking to a moron about this.
No. It's
awesome stories.
It's a helicopter. It's the helicopters that I don't know what. They're like the command and control helicopters. It's not like the ones with the double rotors. It's the one just like the ones that you see in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
That's a Huey.
Okay.
And so that helicopter. And I'm in there, and I'm like, all right, on rappel, on ballet, get on down, go, and they go, and they go, and then the next guys, then the helicopter lowers, and they put in another set of guys, and they come up, and the helicopter just drops.
Just down.
I'm in the helicopter dropped. The helicopter dropped so fast that my head hit the top of the helicopter. With my headset that I was calling stupid-ass commands in, hit the top of the helicopter, and I was sure I was going to die. And then it just dropped, and just everything fell out to the sides.
Did it didn't knock you out?
Smoke came out. No, I was disoriented, yes, but it did not knock me out. I did not
Concussion,
lose. I did not lose. I got I did not lose consciousness, and I'm looking around. And all the Spaniards around are looking around. And nobody was hurt. Miracle.
Wow. Yeah.
Just a miracle. I guess that's a shitty story because nobody died. But it's kind of a great story.
But it is great because they should have died.
We fell out of the sky and nobody died.
Yeah.
But it just fell out of the sky.
Do you know why it just fell out of the fucking sky?
Oh, hydraulics fail all the time. I've been in hydraulic failures before.
Really?
I've been in hydraulic failure a lot of times, yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about that, right?
No. Once the hydraulics fail,
you're fucked.
And
It's
then
over.
You're going in, you're frapping in one way or another.
It's over.
Yeah.
Pull up the next picture. You got great stories, dude.
I mean, booting him out of the helicopter.
I
want him on my side any
Booting
day.
him out
Huh?
of the
I want him on my
That's
side
right.
any day, right? I mean,
Fucking right.
nothing phases you. Like, nothing in life phases you, right? I mean, there's nothing that scares you. I mean,
I would be a liar if I would say that.
But I mean, you've been through, it seems like, everything.
The only thing that phases me would be the lack of love on the part of my wife. Outside of that, I don't give a fuck.
Nothing wrong with that. Now, what the fuck
No,
is this?
I'm just kidding.
What the fuck is this, John?
Oh my God, that was when we were in Alula. Oh, I'd love to show you. Yeah, we didn't even have to wear uniforms. We were shooting camels to eat. Jesus Christ. And we met some French missionaries, and we got scuba gear from the French missionaries, and we went down into, this was in Somalia. No, this was in Kenya. And we went down and we shot lobsters. And we came up with fucking giant ass South African lobsters. Lobsters for everybody, except my problem is I don't eat lobster. So I didn't get a single fucking one. But goddamn, I shot the shit out of them. Yeah, no, that's how casual. When you get to special operations, uniforms are out the window. Uniforms are out. There's no like everybody's
mandate type of thing.
No. This I wish I could walk over there and point it out. But if you notice on
you can
my...
walk over there and point it out.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
And you can see?
Yeah.
So we were all paratroopers, and we were friends with the guys that rigged our parachutes. And they have the special tape. It's not tape. They have the special material that they use that make the straps for the parachutes.
Oh, that's the parachute strap?
So they made us like old wet, instead of like being a cranky old World War II lieutenant with a little 44 up here on your 45 up here on your waist. We had our riggers, our parachute guys, make us these long straps that went down to the side of your hip. And I mean, look at that shit. That's like John Wayne. We could fucking flip that bitch out of there real quick and put a round down range in no time. None of this fucking, we can double tap somebody in no time. There was no like reaching up here and unhooking the leather casing with the brass strap, whatever the fuck was holding your shit together. It's like fucking grab your gun and fucking blow them. That's what you did, and that was so great. Yeah, we had our own, and the advantage is that the rules lessen.
Now, when you were there, did you have to start whacking people out there, or there was a pretty clean trip there?
No, that was a dirty trip. That was a really dirty trip. That was a trip. That's.
Well, what happened at that?
Trip.
Yeah. Now what's this one here? You're just shooting. You're at the that's a shooting range.
That's the back. No, that's the back of a ship. That's the back of a Navy ship. We were getting ready to land on. Land on Alula, and they wanted us prepared. So we had to. I fired so many .45 caliber rounds from the back of that fan. The back of a ship is called a fantail. From the back of the fantail, I cut my hand, and I was bleeding for I was bleeding from my hand. Like we just shot so many rounds. We'd come out, and we'd come back, and we'd move forward. And I don't have the other photographs for you here, but we'd come out of buildings. We had buildings set up
on the ship.
On the back of the fantail of the ship. We got to do whatever we wanted to. When those fucking squids, they just stand back there and be like, "What the hell are these idiots doing?" We had all kinds of little buildings set up, and they had to help us actually put them up. And we would do our missions, and then it would be like shoot, next, shoot, Australian peel, boom, 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 and then we'd work all our way through. And you don't work your way to the target; you work your way through the target.
Right.
So that was what we were doing there. We
That
were
bitch
working
kicks
our way
back, though.
through the target.
That
40,
yeah, that kicked. Was that a-
45, 45 kicks hard.
Yeah.
45 kicks hard. Hard. And
that's a Glock 45, right?
I'll tell you a quick story about that's an M1911 Colt 45.
Oof.
I'll tell you a quick story about that.
No, thank you.
They used to have those. No, they didn't. They used to have 9mm, and they're back to 9mm now. A bunch of pussies. They had 9mm service rifles, sidearms but in the banana wars during the Philippine wars and what was called in the banana republics, we went to war with the Philippines, and the Filipinos would take wet bamboo and tie it on their joints, on their crucial joints, and let it dry. Wet bamboo, and they'd let it dry, and it would, and when it dried, it cut off those certain areas, so you could hit them with the 9mm, and boom, little brown go through. And they could keep on functioning. They'd keep coming. And they would keep coming. The bamboo would pinch off.
Yeah, I'm just surprised it's that strong.
Yeah. No, like you wouldn't bleed out because you had the bamboo tied.
It would keep the blood in.
It would keep the blood in. And so they were like, well, we were losing. And they said, well, we need something that has a punch. We need something that when it hits, it makes a dent. Exactly. And so they came out with the M1911 45, and you might have your little bamboo wired all over your ass, but when you got hit by one of those rounds, and I've seen them because I used to, in special ops, we had tracer rounds. A tracer round is a round that is lined with phosphorus, and when you shoot it, you can see a red line.
Really?
A red line, right? Like a lot of times you'll see it a night fire. Every fifth round is a tracer round, so that you can see where you're shooting at night.
Yeah.
And so we had tracer 45s, and this fucking bullet is so inaccurate and so slow. You could see it, but it would be like wobbling through space. Going towards the target, and then BAM! Done.
You're not moving.
You're not, there's no getting up from a 45 round. You don't get up from a 45 round. There's just nothing. It could hit you here. It doesn't matter. It could hit you here. I'm exaggerating, but so we went to the 45 rounds, and that cured the banana wars.
And you said they went back to 9s now?
They're back to 9mm now, yeah.
Why do you think they did that?
Well, because I guess the enemy is not willing to strap bamboo balls all over themselves.
Yeah. Well, this was the Cold War, right?
This is, yeah.
So it was a little bit different, yeah. Yeah, now they just, I don't know what the fuck they're doing now. Yeah, they're doing drone wars now, right? Do you still keep up with it, or you just stay away from it?
I did my thing, man, and the thing is, they offered me because they spent so much money on me. They offered me a tremendous amount of money to stay. But my whole goal, and this is where I fucked up in life bigger than ever, was I wanted to go to college and party. I wanted to get a bunch of pussy. I wanted to fucking meet girls. I wanted college life more than anything in the world.
So you had just been through all of this.
Now,
And then you got a bunch of pussy.
I've just said the bad side of it. But realistically, my parents are Christians and Seventh-day Adventists, and my father's a doctor in theology and a minister, and my family holds education at a very high value. So to me, it was very important to receive a higher education. plus all the rest.
Yeah. That sounded good. That sounded good, John.
Well, I had to throw that in there for the benefit of my parents.
Yeah, right. But I don't think I believe you.
Yeah, no, it was for the pussy.
Yeah.
It was,
So now, how long did this Cold War last that you were in? I mean, how long were you moving around all over the fucking place?
I did this. I did this for a little over 4 years,
And then you just said, "I want pussy, and I'm getting out."
and then I had my chance to get out. Well, I kept getting promoted because I kept doing more shit, and I kept getting promoted, and I mean, it's traditionally very challenging to be an E5.
And what's an E5?
In your first enlistment. Well, like E1 is private, E2 is some PFC, E3 is lance corporal, E4 is corporal, and E5 is sergeant. So I made sergeant.
Okay.
I made sergeant in 5 years.
Wow.
And
What's it take an usual person to make sergeant?
8 to 12.
And you did it in 5.
About 12.
Yeah, about 12 years.
I did it in 4.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't fucking around.
No, I was all in. I loved it. I mean, I was all in. I don't regret a minute. I was all in. And every fucking buddy that I tortured to make better, and every fucking ounce of pain that I suffered to be better, I wouldn't trade for anything on earth. And
all the people you took out that deserved it.
Yeah. The only thing I would take back would be that I would have gotten shot than Chupa.
You gotta let that go,
That's
buddy.
the one. That's the one.
You gotta let that go.
That's the one.
You gotta let that go.
Fucking 6 inches to the left, it would have been me.
You gotta let that go. You gotta let that go.
Nope.
You got a family now. You got a wife now. You gotta
My
let
team,
that go. You got kids.
my responsibility.
But listen, you gotta think about it like this. If you would have went back and got him, now I know you wanted the bullet to hit you, but it didn't. It hit him. If you would have went back and tried to do something, you would have lost the other 3 guys. It wouldn't have just been you.
I couldn't.
You would have whacked.
I had to get him out. We would have all been dead. They were shooting from the fucking roof. They're shooting from goddamn windows, and fucking old little fucking kid come running outside. I will not speak about this on this show now, but something happened that I will never speak about.
Yeah.
What happened, and
it happens.
it's between me and God, and you do what you have to do. But I got my team out.
I see that shit
got my
on
team
TV.
out.
I mean, I've never been, but I see these fucking kids just popping up out of nowhere with fucking machine guns. These little fucking kids. But they set them up to do it. It's fucked up. Now, when was this, John? You good-looking motherfucker.
Well, I guess at one point in my life I must have been good-looking.
When was that?
That is in 1984. Straight out of boot camp. Meritoriously promoted. They created a new award called the Sergeant Major T.F. Wade Award for outstanding leadership for me, because I was fucking crazy. And I was like, they had these ropes that you had to climb to the top of the ropes, and guys would like hump up there with their 2 legs and their arms and get to the top, and they had to touch and come back down and make it to the bottom. I was like, no legs, 2 arms, got to the top, flipped over the top, my body, came down the other side, fucking came shimmying down, and got the shit kicked out of me by the instructors. Little did I know that the week before, a guy had died on that course. He wasn't doing what I was doing.
So why did why they kick the shit out of you?
Well, because they still made an award for me.
But I know, I mean, why'd they kick the shit
Somebody
out of
just died climbing up that rope and failed and fumbled like a little fumbly guy.
So is that like a sign of like disrespect
and
that
he
you went and did it?
Well, Well, it just scared the shit out of them. It scared the shit out of them
that you were gonna
that
die.
I was out there flying around the pole
like
yeah.
a fucking nutcase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It just scared them. But that's when they knew that I belonged in a different department of the Marine Corps.
So you're there 4 years, and now how do you get out? How did you get out of
Hardest decision. I knew that I was going to college. God, they offered me money. They offered me a lot of money.
So John, you signed up for 4 years. Is that what you did? And then and then at that point you have the opportunity to extend it.
To extend.
And then you had to make a decision, and then you chose that you wanted to
decision.
go chase pussy.
Yeah.
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 So then you just walked away.
I walked away. Well, my education was very important to me. My education was very important to me.
But
I wanted to go to college.
Didn't you get in a little bit of trouble when you left?
Well, I mean, let's see. Not in the military, no.
No, I mean when you came home.
We followed the Grateful Dead for a year, so you might have got in trouble.
Does that count? No, I'm not certain which. I mean, I've been in trouble my whole life, Tommy. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
which one are you talking about? I can elaborate on any one you want. I'm not.
Well, no.
ashamed.
When you got out, I thought you did something fucking crazy.
In Mexico, the Red Cross, or maybe, I don't know.
That, yeah.
Yeah, that's between the Pellegrino and I.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation.
That's nobody's story.
That's for another day, another time. Right?
That's for never.
Okay, that's for never. All right, no problem. I know it. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't telling nobody. My lips are sealed. You know me. I don't
I
talk.
know. I know.
I don't talk. I don't like
Thank you
people
for
that
giving me the opportunity, but I respectfully decline.
talk. Yeah, and I respectfully accept.
Thank you.
So now you get out. Then what do you do when you get out? You go. You chase. Where'd you go to college?
I went to I got out of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, so I went to college in Raleigh, which is the capital of North Carolina, NC State University.
Oh, you went to NC State?
Yeah, and I managed to squeeze a 4-year degree into 8 years.
Wait, you did what? The fuck did he just say? A 4-year degree into 8 years?
I squeezed a 4-year degree into 8 years.
How the fuck do you do that?
I was busy.
You did everything else fast, and that was long.
Fucking 8 years. So let me get this straight. So you're diving, you're beating everybody, you're doing things in 2 seconds. You go to college, it's supposed to be 4 years, and you end up being there fucking 8 years.
8 years to get from my undergrad, and and when I graduated after 8 years, I stayed up for a week doing my final project, and I had no sleep.
Just out of curiosity, what was the final project? I know you know.
All whacked out. All I had to do is design for this whole barn area with. It was this big project. It was a barn project.
I'm sorry, I should have asked you this first. What was your major?
Oh, I was School of Design. I was a
Okay.
design major.
Just so it makes sense. So then the last project was to do what?
Was this big barn attached to a house, but it was all about the barn, and the barn had to have like certain water features, and it was all about environmental things. And the whole point is that I could not graduate until I turned in my final project, and I went to graduation anyway.
Without finishing the project?
No, I finished my final project, and I went to graduation with my project in my hand, and they were calling everybody's name, and they called it, and they called everybody, and then they called my name, and I walked up, and I handed my professor my final project, shook his hand, gave him my diploma, and I walked out, and he fucking got his final project, the last, and that's nothing to be proud of or that I would recommend to my kids or anything.
Yeah.
But
it's just the stupid shit. I did the same shit.
Stupid shit.
Stupid shit that we do.
Yeah.
But people aren't like us. You know what I mean? We do some dumb shit. So then you graduate, and then what?
Then I got into the restaurant business while I
Oh
was.
yeah, I remember you telling me that.
I got into the restaurant business while I was in college. I started as a busser. My first job, well, the first job I went for right out of the Marine Corps when I went to Raleigh, North Carolina to go to college was, I'm like, man, there's a lot of good-looking chicks in this restaurant. I want to work here. So I went and applied. And they said, sir, this is Hooters. We only hire women. So I'm like, fuck, all right. So I went across the street to TGI Fridays and
Snuck over to Hooters.
started as a busser and, became a waiter and then head waiter and then bartender and then got into restaurant management and then got into the steakhouse business.
That restaurant management's hell, right?
He loved it.
You loved it?
Well, you have to understand that I love to party.
Yeah.
So I was at the apex of partying.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the restaurant business parties, period. All your wait staff, your bartenders, everybody, period. Parties, period. But then, it all, everybody, it all comes to the manager. Everybody, so as a restaurant manager, they all came. I had the parties at my house. I had a great house. I had, whatever. We're getting off track here. This has nothing to do with the military.
No. But we're going through your life here.
Full circle.
We've already killed, about 100 people and
Okay, we're
and
done with
fucking
that. Yeah.
drowned it and fucking jumped out of fucking airplanes and
No, so
were
I
in the woods for a month and a fucking half.
I ran prime beef steakhouses for years, and I was very good at it. I failed my way to the top. I joked. My joke used to be that I failed my way to the top because I was always partying and always having fun and always getting promoted. And then I had my first child, and things changed a little there. And then had my second child, things changed a little there. Got out of the restaurant business, became a wine consultant. I'm really abbreviating now because I'm tired. I want to drink.
Yeah.
There's nothing to drink here, so
Yeah, but no, we'll cut it up.
okay.
You can come back in for another part. You can tell me about the VFW. But I do want to ask you, I know you're tired, so we'll talk about the restaurant and
All
your
right,
job
let's-
and everything else. But tell me about, you got the vaccine,
Which one?
the COVID vaccine.
It's available for employees at the VA. I think that they've done an incredible job right now as far as civilians are concerned. As far as non-employees are concerned, they're available for people 70 and older, which I think is unfair, but that's my personal opinion. But all of us that are frontline workers have had the opportunity. We all have the opportunity to get the vaccine. Yes.
Now, did you get the Pfizer one or the Modell one?
I got neither one. I have not taken the vaccine.
Oh, I thought you did take
I
it.
don't want it.
I thought you took it.
Absolutely not.
Wow, I thought you took it.
Nope. It's
What
been
were you
offered
saying
to
when you
me.
came in? You said that the first one wasn't bad and the second one sucked.
I might have been
Was I
speaking
hearing
about
shit?
somebody else.
Didn't you think he said that?
Yeah, I thought so.
Did I? No, I didn't. I haven't.
I'm
No.
hearing shit.
All I've heard is that's what I've heard from people is
Oh,
that
maybe you're referring to what
just
you heard
what
from
my
people.
what my coworkers have said. I've
Oh.
had the opportunity to get the vaccine and I haven't taken it.
Yeah, the first one.
I,
the second one.
I've watched carefully what has happened to my coworkers, and there's some people that have gotten sick, and some people,
You say fuck it, right?
No, it's not a fuck it thing. It's a do you trust yourself and your immune system and your ability to be careful, and I don't. What good is it going to do me to get a shot and not get max one at home?
Yeah. I get it. No, I get it. I get the principle of it. You know who you're talking to. I get it.
What good
Absolutely.
is it going to do me
Yeah.
to get a shot and not get max a shot?
Right. Well,
I can't get max a shot.
Right. You love
Max
her.
doesn't
So,
qualify.
So, in other words, you love her. So
So-
you feel it's like not fair for you to have it and her not to have it.
Right.
I get
And
the
I can't get
principle.
her one. I'd give her mine if I could, but I can't.
Yeah. Now,
and she can't get one.
Now, if you both could get it, would you get it?
Yes.
Would you?
Would you get it?
I would.
If we could both get it, I would get it. Yes.
Yeah.
His sister's a
Yes.
doctor.
And
I've
fuck
read
it.
some things she sent.
When,
Yeah.
eventually, well, with this motherfucker.
And plus,
who knows?
there's a lot of. I mean, there's a lot. I've watched a lot of guys that have gotten it, and a lot of guys have not done that well with it.
The vaccine.
With the vaccine, I think that the Pfizer one is that's a single shot, right?
No.
That's a double one. That's the
I
one.
think,
where
I
you-
think that's
the
more.
one. That's
It's
the
gotta
one
be,
that
like,
people are really
freezing
struggling with.
Yeah, it's got to be really, really cold, and I think you got to go 4 times.
Oh.
The Modelo one is 2,
Twice.
right? Is that what it is, Rob?
Yeah, my mom got the first Moderna. It's two for the Moderna.
Your
Thought it
mom got the
Well,
Moderna?
which is a
Moderna.
single one?
There is no single.
Oh yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
Johnson and Johnson
Really?
is
Yeah,
single,
there's a single shot.
but they say it's not as effective. Moderna is supposed to be effective 2 shots. I think Pfizer's 2 shots too.
I thought it was 4.
Maybe.
But it's got to
Yeah.
be kept so fucking
Cold.
cold.
Yeah, very cold.
And they say that the side effects on that Pfizer one's a
Yeah.
bitch. But
I see them all the time. I mean, they come through. They come through with armed guard on these frozen packs, and they're like, oh, and they bring them through. And I see, oh my God, I see this at the VA. It's insane. These lines of people that are over a mile long, over 2 miles long. They just lined up, old people, and right now they're only doing 70 and over. So you can imagine when they open it for the regular public how crazy it's going to be.
Yeah.
Just lines and lines and confused older veterans trying to get their shots and coming back for their second one and don't know where. And I mean, I just
See, I appreciate that they got it out quick, but I think vaccines cause a lot of problems later in life, and I appreciate that they got it out quick. Well, he got it out quick, not this fuck. And
right.
And I just think that you don't know what it's going to do to you 10 years from now. You know what I mean? It could fucking really fuck you up. You don't know what it's going to do. You know?
Yeah.
And that's my fear about it. But I respect the fact that he got it done. I mean,
Well, Tommy, I have my reservations about that as well, and that's why I haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
I have personal reservations against getting a vaccine that I don't know what's going to happen to me later down the road.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
agree with that.
But I'm not going to do it.
I agree with it. I hate him.
If
I
she
hate
doesn't make me, I won't do
No,
it.
he's required to get the flu shot. He has to get that work.
Fuck that.
Every year.
I've
hate
never
flu
got a
shots.
flu shot. Fuck that.
It makes you sick every year when you get it. You always take 3 days off,
Fuck that flu shot.
and he has to because he works at the hospital.
All right, Johnny, I'll let you out of here. You come
Yeah,
back in
I'm
again,
done, man.
and then
I'm
we'll
done.
we'll finish up.
I'm real
All right,
done.
thanks a lot, John.
It's such
Appreciate
a
your
pleasure seeing you again, Tom.
Great, yeah.
I've missed you a lot.
Thanks, Max,
You're
for
a good
coming in.
man.
Thank you.